we need artists because we make people feel good. We make people laugh. We make people, you know, go back into their life and have memories, you know? It's a great, for me, when I walk into a movie theater, it's 2 hours of, I'm just in heaven, you know? I love that experience of the lights going down and then seeing the cinema on the big screen. And, you know, there's a lot of good movies out there that are very important to see for people.
And there's a lot of films that have changed society.
Absolutely.
I mean, movies that, you know, there's some movies that are more fun. Your movie is really doing something about that. There are films which we love. And the movies that have impacted you are the ones that have changed your life. And I have to say that films have changed my life. All films that I've seen. When I was a little tiny kid, I used to go to these movies. I was just transfixed of the power of a film. Joe, you're in one of the, you know, the best film of the year. We're waiting to see if it wins Best Picture. He's won a lot of awards. They've won a lot of awards. Golden Globes, you won, right?
Won the Toronto Film Festival, National Board of Review, Golden Globes, CinemaScope, 12 film festivals. And you know what? When I was doing it, I had no clue. I was just glad to be there because I loved the script. I loved working with Peter Farrelly and Nick Vallelonga. And in Vigo, I became close with him. So it was a great experience, you know.
Tell us about that. Tell us about that experience.
With Vigo and the whole...
Vigo, the whole thing.
Yeah. Anyway, I had just finished playing Giorgio Armani in this Versace thing. I was really excited. They were telling me all great stuff. And then I got the Green Book, and right as I was going away to shoot it, they called me and said, look, we had to cut the whole 3 episodes because of legal reasons. I was devastated. But the pain and the anger that brought to me, which was inside me somewhere, and I thrive on exploration, I was able to put in to one of the scenes in the film. And that takes a lot of trust, which takes experience. But again, you know, I love the self-confidence. No self-confidence. So I went down there and, you know, I met Farley. I walked in the room and the part was written for Frank Sinatra. And he said, I want you to read Sinatra. And I went, are you nuts? I mean, I got a lot in my wheelhouse, man. But Frank ain't there. I don't think I mean, I can't play. He said, no, you know, we're going to change it. I said, okay. So I went and I read one time. I didn't even know there was a camera in the room. By the way, I never look for the camera. I trust that the guy behind the camera and all the other people know what they're doing. I focus on what I need to do. So I read, I left, and that night Nick Vallelonga called me and he said, Peter Farrelly just canceled all of the other appointments for the role of Gio Lascato. He's going to hire you. And I said, great. And I got down there, and he's a great guy to work with because he obviously has a great sense of humor. And Vigo and Nick and Mahershala, it couldn't have been sweeter. Vigo, after I did it, you know, we met, we ran it a few times. And after my third couple of takes, he came up to me and he goes, how do you nail it every time? I said, I don't know that I do. He said, no, trust me, you do. So we became friendly, and then in the movie there's a scene with a hat where I bring my hat.
Yes. Yes.
And so the scene goes, he takes the hat because he's a street grinder. And I knew the real Tony Lip. Nick is his son, and Nick is a guy I did a play with 28 years ago over here at the White Fire when my son Jack was being born. So I knew the family a little bit, you know? And, you know, Tony Lip was a real guy. He wasn't a gangster. He was a street guy. And he knew he had to earn for his family. So he clips the hat, right? You all know the story. And then I come out, I go bonkers. And then, you know, he returns the hat and I give him a C-note, right? Which is what he wanted. So after we shot it all, and we went out and hung out for a couple of more days. As I was getting ready to leave, we were shooting on a Friday night till like 3:30 in the morning. And I wrapped at 3:30. They still were shooting. I went to my hotel. I went to my room. I went to sleep. At about 6:30, I hear this knocking on the door. Mr. Cortese, open the door, security. I thought there was a terrorist. I don't know. I opened the door, and there's Vigo, and Pete, and Nick, and Brian Curry with the hat. And Vigo walks up to me, he goes, you know, I look, I got Nick Nolte here, and one eye is over here. I'm like, what the f? And he goes, he walks up to me, he says, Joey, what's right is right. You gotta have the hat. So it was, you know, it's great when you get the respect of your peers, especially those that are considered to be of greatness.
Oh, absolutely. What made you fall in love with acting?
You know, I was a crazy kid, 18. I went away to college. I was during the Vietnam. Was just in the middle of it. You know, I lost a couple of uncles in the Second World War. My father didn't want me to go to, wanted me to go to college, but I didn't know what I wanted to do. I was always kind of a character. And I went and I took a class. It was called Drama 160 with my first and really important actor teacher named Alfred Ruscio. Al Ruscio was a character actor. And I immediately, you know, I started doing the exercise, and it was like a duck to water. But then what really put it over the top for me, I guess I was on summer vacation, and I went to see a movie called Midnight Cowboy after having seen The Graduate. And when I was, and I was looking at it, I go, I saw Dustin, he destroyed me. I mean, the character work from the guy in The Graduate to Ratso Rizzo, I was against my seat, and I went, at the end of the movie, I pointed to the screen and I go, that's what I want to do. And I've been trying to do it ever since. Sometimes more than others, but you know, it's, I've been, I guess, fortunate in a lot of ways.
You're very fortunate. You're really inspiration, because no matter what.
And I know April, for, you know, didn't you cast the series we did?
Yes.
No, I don't. What series
Really?
was it?
Something is out there? No. Was
No,
that
that
it?
wasn't me.
Okay, sorry.
That's okay. You know, we all sort all the casting directors.
Yeah,
No, but she's a great one.
she's
We've
She's
known
a-
each other a very, very long time.
Right.
The idea is that what I want to know is you are an inspiration to so many actors. You've been in it. It goes up, it goes down. You're in great films. You worked with Pesci. You worked with all these different actors that you know, and you still stay. I mean, no matter what, there's nothing stop. He's got projects going on. I had tried to drag him over here. He's got meetings going on. I said, I want you to speak to these wonderful actors and tell them what keeps you going when it goes down. What are some of the things that you do to keep yourself inspired?
Well, I mean, you know, in answer to your question, it's what I do, you know, and every time I've gone through a rough period without work and I attempted to do something else, it wouldn't matter how much the money was, I didn't give a shit. I knew what I wanted to do. I know when I am in good shape as an actor and in life, that to me, it's the most exciting business in the world, bar none. And the fact that I can be, you know, I feel like I've been given a gift by God, and I get the opportunity to exercise it. It's funny you ask that, because I wake up a lot of mornings thinking, why am I still doing this? And it's because it's really simple. I love it. To me,
It's what
life,
you were born to do. You have no other choice.
I was born, I have no other choice. I don't want to do anything else. And life's about love, not much more. So I continue to pursue it, and I'll see what happens. But I'm still here. You know, I'm still
and you're
showing
getting
up.
better. I don't even want to talk about some of the movies that you're up for. I don't even want to talk about that. But I want to say these are sort of new actors that have come to LA. What are 3 pieces of advice that you would give someone that starts, who's come here? If an actor comes up to you, what would you say? Here's 3 things you need to do.
I would say, 1, you have to be in class and study your profession, and read a lot, take classes. The other thing, as an actor, I would say, look, if you want to be a serious actor, if you consider yourself a serious actor, not some weightlifting kind of, you have to put the time in, you know, and you have to. And the third thing I would say to you is, don't think. When I act, I don't think. I do not think. I mean, I do a lot of preparation before, and I wrap it up, I throw it out the window, and then I trust my instinct, and that's what you see. Now, for that, you have to have a tremendous amount of trust. So you have to build a trust as an actor. You have to trust who you are. You have to trust in your instrument. You have to be confident about it without being cocky. And you have to be humble about it. And those are important. You have to stay in class until you start really working. Then even more, I mean, I still go to the actor studio once in a while. I'm a lifetime member of the actor studio. I walked in there Tuesday, saw a scene from, I can't remember what it was, Virginia Woolf. And the moderator was Lou Antonioni, who's been around forever, and it was like, I was in love for an hour. They were just talking about the work, the exploration of it, and the exhausting the possibilities and the choices and how people work, you know? And he would go on and talk about Kazan, how Kazan directed him, and you know, a lot of great Edward Albee. And you know, it's exciting. To me, it's exciting. It's much more exciting than previewing a house in Westlake. So, you know, 3 things: study, stay in love, and don't think when you work. Do not think when you're acting. That's a big one with me.
No, it's a most important thing, because thinking, there's only one thing that thinking wants you to do, which is to
Fail.
Fail. That's exactly right.
That's what it does. So we talk about that. But there's a benefit of failing, because then you have to do anything. See, you have to just figure out the benefit. Or we're talking about the benefits before of getting rid of negative habits.
Yeah.
We were talking about that.
No negativity. And listen, it's one day at a time. One phone call could change your life.